This morning, a DC Today exclusive. Most of us think we know what happened on September 11, 2001. Our next guest, though, had a front row seat to history. Perhaps even more importantly, he rarely, if ever, talks about it. JC Watts is the chairman of BNC and former Oklahoma Congressman, and he was in the bunker with former members of the Bush cabinet in Maryland. He was talking to then Vice President Cheney, even as America was under attack. He joins us from Oklahoma. JC, as always, thanks for being with us. Why didn't you talk about this? You have a network.
Well, Dale, you were gracious enough to invite me on, and I agree with this. As we were talking about and recognizing the contributions that people made on September 11th last week, it just kind of dawned on me that I did have a front row seat, but I've not been, screaming and yelling to tell some of the intricate stories of that day, and some of it is pretty painful. It was an interesting day. It was a day of confusion, and in spite of all of our technology and science, we had some hiccups, and we since have been corrected. But nevertheless, we had some disconnect on 9/11/2001.
You can shed some light on something that I have always been curious about. I was anchoring in Washington at the time, and all of us in the anchor seat believed that the president could always broadcast from Air Force One, and yet there was that time when we just didn't hear from him. Take us back to where you were that day and what was going on.
Well, Dale, I had gotten into my office around 9 a.m. There in D.C., and I'd just spoken to the National Association of Automobile Dealers at a breakfast for them, and I got back to the office, and about 9:02, 9:04, I heard my legislative director say, "Oh my God, they've hit the World Trade Center. They again." And so we turned the monitor on and saw what was going on, and then we heard that the Pentagon had been hit. And you just knew there was a feeling about it, although you didn't know what was going on. There was a feeling that something was abnormal. I mean, way beyond abnormal. So I called some of my staff together, had a word of prayer with them. I said, let's let our staff get out of here, go home. An hour, 15, 20 minutes later, I found myself being whisked away with the Republican and Democrat leadership, Dale, probably 15, 16 of us, into a bunker over in Maryland that I to this day, I've never inquired about where it was. I just knew we were in a bunker in Maryland. And we eventually got the vice president on the phone, and we were talking to him, trying to get him from Florida, where Andy Card, the chief of staff at the time, whispered in his ears. He was visiting with those young people there, I believe at an elementary school, whispered in his ear something, and he had this perplexed look on his face. And I don't think Andy was able to tell him exactly what was going on. I think he kind of shared with him what we all thought, there's something abnormal. So again, we were visiting with Vice President Cheney. We didn't want to give the president a direct route into Washington or into Andrews there in Maryland. And so we routed him, or they routed him from Florida into, I believe, Ohio, and then Ohio into Andrews Air Force Base. They gave an edict to ground every airplane. There was one other plane in the air that we didn't know. We didn't have the identity of that plane, and we had fighter jets following, trying to identify that plane. That in itself was somewhat, interesting, because, one bad decision or one flawed decision, a passenger plane could have been shot down, but we eventually identified it, got all the planes grounded, and continued to visit with Vice President Cheney as to what was going on and what was happening in New York, the Pentagon, and Flight 93 that went down in Pennsylvania. And by the way, I don't know if we have any facts to back this up, but I definitely believe that Flight 93 was probably headed to the Capitol. I mean, hit the Capitol Dome. If you think about it, Dale, that Capitol Dome is a symbol of freedom for all the world. And, had they been able to, hit that or destroy that, I just think that would have been a tremendous symbol, a tremendous feather in their cap, if you will. So those people on Flight 93 that took that plane down, to me, feel like I have a personal connection with them because I think they had a hand in possibly sparing the life of 435, 535 members of Congress, or at least those members who were actually in the Capitol at the time.
JC, September 11th showed us the vulnerabilities of the nation when it came to a terrorist attack. January 6th showed us the vulnerability of the Capitol. Do we know now, 20 years later, how close we came to if the president had been allowed to land at Andrews? We don't even know that there might not have been a backup attack on the president touching down. How precarious were those moments in the bunker where you were?
Well, Dale, there's three circumstances that I've experienced over the last 25 years that I think speaks to how precarious our security is and how fragile it can be. I experienced two of those things while in Congress. Less than 90 days into my rookie season in Congress, we were hit 20 minutes from my house in downtown Oklahoma City at the Murrah Federal Building. Timothy McVeigh with the Ryder truck and some other chemicals killed 168 people. That was April 19th, 1995. And then September 11th happened, and then we saw what happened on January 6th, the insurrection there. And so I think it reminds us of the importance of never letting our guard down. National security is as the old saying goes, and as you've heard before, the enemy, foreign and domestic, we have to be right, all the time. They only have to be right once. And we saw on April 19th, 1995, Timothy McVeigh and the thugs that he operated with killed 168 people just by driving a Ryder truck up in front of the Murrah Federal Building. And lives were lost and families were damaged, and we'll remember that obviously forever. We will here in Oklahoma City.
Right.
September 11th, very same thing. People went to work thinking that the next evening they'd go to Little League football game, they'd go to, a play on Broadway or wherever they had plans of going. They never made it. 3,000 people, a little under 3,000 people never made it. Then January 6th, the very same thing. So foreign and domestic. John Kennedy reminded us during his presidency that we should defend the United States of America of our enemies, foreign and domestic.
JC, I got to get a question in before we go. And you're an African American, founded the Black News Channel, former member of Congress. Voting rights is crucial, but why are we not seeing members of the aisle where you were lining up on voting rights? When you were in Congress, it was not even an issue. Why is it such an issue now?
Well, it's become, Dale, we are paying. I heard an old pastor friend of mine, I can't call him a friend. I knew him. I didn't know him personally, but I was a follower and a fan. Pastor E.V. Hill out of California, out of Los Angeles. He said this, Dale, 25 years ago. He said, we are putting so much emphasis on the left wing and the right wing that the poor bird is dying. And I think I think voting rights, it is a precious thing. And our forefathers especially understand the power of the ballot box, the power of the vote. And I surely think you ought to be doing things to encourage and protect the right to vote, not to discourage and limit the right to vote. And I think on the right side of the aisle, I think it's catering to, you know, that 25, 30% or 40%, 50%, whatever that percentage is. You know, those who are denying the right to vote, they feel like there's a significant percentage on the right that can impact their elections, and so therefore they play to those political things rather than doing the right thing.
I'm not going to cut off my boss, but I am going to point out before we go, your Sooners are probably going to beat my Irish this year, and that's not a good thing, but we'll talk about that offline. That's JC Watts, the chairman of BNC, my boss, by the way, and former Oklahoma Congressman JC. As always, thanks for being with us and sharing that story, and we'll yell at you later for not telling us sooner.
Thanks for having me on.